At its best, wassailing as it's currently performed in the UK coincides with a renewed interest in both individual and community relations with the natural world, as a response to rapid climate change and a recognition of the damage done by humans to other species and the planet more generally. It's an invented tradition which imagines a time before and perhaps beyond modernity, a time of popular magic and a time when humans recognised and celebrated their symbiotic relations with other species, with the earth and its spirits. In this sense, wassailing is an accessible British folkway which allows us to experiment with how we might understand the relationships of nature and culture. It can help us imagine a softening, if not the erasing, of the division between the two. It's a third move in admitting those who have been denied the status of active participants in the world. Beyond the people who've been excluded, it enables us to admit other species and other beings into the story, and this is something that Here's to Thee has done with the Holstow wassail. Due to restrictions on travel, I'm locked down on Menacing, also known as the Toronto Islands. This is part of the traditional territory and treaty lands of the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation. On January the 17th, I held a conventional wassail here with my family. We sang to the trees, hoped for hatfuls, capfuls of apples and so on. It would be easy to draw equivalents between an old British custom and those of indigenous cultures on Turtle Island, to emphasise a commonality of purpose perhaps. After all, the wassail recognises the spirit of the apple trees in a way that seems similar to the ways in which ceremony recognised the Manitou of beings. Yet it's far from that simple, and to do so would overlook material differences in circumstances and conditions by which settlers and indigenous people live in Canada now. A celebration of the orchard apple tree in Britain might be thought of as an honest attempt to address the climate crisis and the great divide between nature and culture, a necessary move to repair division, a benign attempt to put things right. Yet here, such a celebration risks reinforcing a division and of continuing the process of dispossessing indigenous people of their intimate connection to the land. To celebrate the orchard tree on traditional territory is to risk overlooking the ways in which the planting of fruit trees is intrinsic to the colonial process. I've spoken with those whose families were displaced from their territory as settlers, on instruction from government departments, planted apple orchards to claim land tenure. This formed part of the systematic process of colonisation, along with suppression of indigenous languages, traditional knowledge, and removing children from their families and kin and so on. To celebrate Malus domestica as a species is to remind indigenous people of this. So as part of Here's to Thee, I'm trying to work through on how to decolonise the wassail as it's performed on this territory, to mobilise it as a way to grapple with these ongoing injustices. As a settler, however temporary, this is the very least that I can do.